Hi everyone, kalimsiYT here, and in today's it has seen some better days. That is one thing I feel like I have a lot of fun with in the game is building like again, sometimes I do like building rundown things, but just like kind of builds that have are meant to have been around for a while, and this house is one of those. And I had a lot of fun building it. It is a pretty small house, but I feel like there is a lot of personality and character, and the sim that I pictured living here, I feel like really comes across. And so I guess I should tell you a little bit about this sim. So I'll put a picture on screen of who I was kind of picturing for this, but this sim's name is Sam Snodgrass, and he just moved to Chestnut Ridge into this lot, and he has the ambitions of opening his own nectar business. But very specifically, he focuses on potato nectar. That's like kind of his niche, and he operates out of his garage. And he just moved here. He's getting started in the business, and he's just kind of, I don't know, making his way around, doing his thing, making nectar. But he doesn't have like a job, like a real job. Like, not okay, that sounds bad. He doesn't have a traditional job in the sense that he doesn't have a career that he works on. So his entire livelihood is made up of this nectar business, and so he pours a lot into it. I am considering having a small business, turning this into a small business lot. But I think what I'm actually going to end up doing is put one of those like busking tables, selling tables, whatever they're called, either in the front of this lot or in some community lot, and he will sell his nectar through there to make money. Oh, maybe the Home Chef Hustle little pop-up tent. I think actually, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put that somewhere, either on this lot or on some sort of community lot, and that will be kind of like his business venue, if that makes sense. There is more to this sim than just he just moved here and he is making nectar. I have it set so that he has a family tree, and the family that he lives in Brightchester, and he decided to move here. I don't want to say too much about the family in Brightchester that he belongs to, because at some point I do kind of want to go over kind of what's going on in my save file and how he kind of relates to them. But essentially, his parents live in Brightchester, and he grew up there, is what I imagine, and he decided he didn't want to go to college, he didn't want to do what his parents were doing, and so he moved here to pursue this business instead. And I'd like to think they're supportive of it. Not like they're supportive of him, but they're not like very confident in him, if that makes sense. Like, they're like, oh, do what makes you happy, son, but they do think he's a little odd for choosing this path and deciding to go on his own. But I think he is really enjoying himself, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. So that's kind of how his origin story unfolded, in my mind at least. I haven't fully set this. I made the Sims, all of them, so I'm starting to kind of put this in motion in my save file, and kind of what I imagine his story kind of ties into the major overarching story that I have for my version of Chestnut Ridge in my save file. But essentially, what I kind of imagine going on in Chestnut Ridge is that there is a family who is very rich, very wealthy, and they're kind of like top dogs in the town, and they specialize in nectar making as well. And they have their own winery, they are nectary, I guess, in the game, if you want to call it that. They have their own restaurant. Like, they are very affluent, they have lots of money, they're very successful, and they don't really like that Sam has moved in and is trying to steal their business. And so they're kind of trying to, I guess, weed him out, and kind of stop his business from succeeding. And so not only is Sam having to kind of navigate being a small business owner, moving to a new place with people he doesn't know, but he's having to kind of deal with the fact that there is a family there that's also trying to ruin his livelihood as well. So, which I think is a fun, well, not necessarily fun for him, but a fun, from a lore perspective, little layer of nuance. I also picture him dating another town native or townie who lives in here, not like one that EA made, like one I have made. And whenever I get on to building their homes, their businesses, I'll go ahead and talk about them. But I imagine that he enjoys living in Chestnut Ridge, and he's very passionate about his nectar making business, and he wants to do his best to succeed despite all of the outside forces and households that exist trying to stop him. So that's kind of my main inspiration for this storyline, and I really end up liking it. Going back a bit into the world or the build itself right now, you can see that I kind of have the exterior, like, not fully done, but a lot of it done, in the sense that the main structure is built. I have the wallpaper and the windows and the doors picked out, and I've started kind of decorating the place a bit. I did want to put some landscaping in, but I didn't want it to be like over the top. Like, I didn't want this lot to look like a sim has actually gone in and like carefully thought about the landscaping and really like manicures it. So what I kind of have is I have some flowers kind of dotted around the edge of the property, because I imagine those are kind of perennials that come back year after year and, always bloom and kind of do their thing. I can't imagine that Sam is really, gardening a whole lot outside from his potato plants. But there are some dead trees, some dead grass, because, you're in the desert here in Chestnut Ridge. And yeah, so that was kind of my kind of vibe for the landscaping, and I think it turned out pretty good. I also used the tool mod to take some trees and some bushes kind of off the lot as well, because outside of this 20 by 20 lot boundary, there really isn't a whole lot there, and I feel like it's kind of unrealistic. It seems very plain, and in gameplay, I personally notice it a lot whenever there are a lot of kind of dead space in between the lots. I don't really like that a whole lot, especially because I feel like in game, they have Sims randomly walking about and about, but the Sim is just kind of walking out and about in the middle of nowhere, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So when I can, I try to use the tool mod to kind of fill the space in, and so I did that with this as well, and I feel like it just frames the house a lot better. Pretty happy with it. And so that was kind of my vision for the landscaping. Nothing too crazy, but one thing I am including in this, and you'll probably see me put in just a little bit later, is I put in some potato plants around the backyard because, like I said, Sam specializes in making potato nectar or potato wine, which is a type of wine that you can brew, is that the word? Make? I don't know. You can, anyway, your sim can create it in the game. And so yes, you can see me right now putting the little potato saplings in, but I put some in the backyard. But the thing is if you have seasons in your game, which I do, your plants can go out of season, and when that happens, they're not producing nectar. And so I didn't really want there to be an off season with these guys, because ideally your sim would always be able to make potato nectar. And so to combat that, I went ahead and in the garage / like workspace area, which I'm currently working on right now, I went and I put a couple of potato plants indoors as well, because if you put your plants over a roof in the game registers it as sheltered and seasons don't affect it. So the plant will always be growing and producing fruit no matter the season in the game, which I think is really handy and really nice. For probably like all of my sims I have garden for gameplay, I always like to go in and have some sort of greenhouse or sheltered area, because it just makes everything so much easier. And it's not that I don't necessarily dislike the mechanic of having the garden or the seasons with the gardening, but it does make my life a lot harder for a gardening sim, and I kind of like that challenge. But the greenhouse is easier, and I couldn't necessarily put a greenhouse on the slot because again it's just a starter home, so I just put like what I kind of picture as being like a grow light above the plants in there. So that should still function if you want your sim to produce potato nectar, but it's like winter, you know, they should still be able to do that because it's inside. That's a long-winded way of saying that. Right now I am working on the nectar making studio / garage workspace, and I really liked how this turned out. I have the one functioning object for gameplay, which is that little nectar making station you can see in the corner over there, and right now I'm just going in and kind of decorating the rest of it. I also have some aging little, oh gosh, what are they called? The stuff you put your wine in to have it age. I have those in there as well. Now, one mechanic of the game is that you can put those shelves in basements, and it'll actually make your nectar age faster. But I didn't do that for this lot because I didn't really feel like a basement fit on here, and it didn't really make sense. And so I just kept them above. Your nectar will still age, it just will be at a bit of a slower rate. So if you end up playing this household or playing on this lot and you want a basement, feel free to add it or do whatever you want with it. I think a basement would be a great addition to this house, just with the budget and kind of the room I had in mind. It just didn't really make sense for this one, and that's okay. But now I'm going on and I'm moving on to the actual house itself, and there's not a whole lot going on here. I mean, that's a lie. There's a lot of furniture, you know, it's like there's stuff here, but I can't imagine that Sam, the sim I picture living here, actually spends a lot of time in his house. I would imagine that workshop is really where he goes most of the day, and the house is kind of like a checkpoint, if you will. Like, it's kind of just there. You know, he just sees to his needs essentially. But I still wanted to make it look lived in, like there was a sim who, you know, lives here. I didn't want it to look very plain. So you'll notice in the decorations, I kind of clutter it up a bit. Not right now, because right now I'm just kind of putting in the bare bone furniture. But I do like how it turned out. I don't think it's necessarily my style, but I think for what it is and what it's supposed to be in my game, I think it turned out pretty cute and pretty simple, and I think it's pretty cool. One thing I forgot to add earlier when I was talking about the sim I picture living here is I also pictured that he has a dog, and I imagine that he adopted this dog like not too long after he moved in, and it's kind of like the stereotypical man's best friend situation. Like, I imagine that this dog is always with him out whenever he's working for the day, very loyal, maybe goes and like hunts and brings him back stuff, and he always is playing with them, that type of thing. But fitting the space for a large dog in a starter home was a little bit challenging, specifically like where to put the bed. So what I ended up doing for this is I put the bed in the bedroom, what I usually will do, like the living room for pet beds. But anyway, in this house, the pet bed is in the bedroom next to the real bed. I think it would be kind of cool in the game, and I don't think this is a mechanic, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think it'd be kind of cool if you could have your pets like sleep on the actual bed with your Sims while they're sleeping, because I know in real life, like a lot of people do that with their pets. They'll have their pets like sleep on the bed with them. I think that's very much like a by the owner thing. Like not everyone does that. I don't have a pet, so I don't know. I would love a pet, but I don't currently have one. So I don't know what I would do. But I think it would be nice to have that, honestly, just so I could save space and I don't have to place down a pet bed. I think technically your pets can like sleep anywhere, but I don't think they'll like automatically go to sleep, or they will automatically go to sleep, but I don't think they'll like, you can't like click on it and then say sleep here, like on the grass. Like I think you can only do that on the bed. But again, I may be wrong on that. I don't know for sure, but if I am wrong, let me know. Anyways, I placed the pet bed here. I was able to figure the space out. It ended up working out in the end, and I think it looks cute. So that's all that really matters. I think it's cool that the sim has a dog. I sometimes forget to add pets into the game with the save file, but I'm trying to do it with most households because I feel like a lot of people in real life have pets, and I want that to be displayed or mirrored in my save file as well. They're a pretty important part of what's going on in the Sims lives, so I should include that. So one thing you'll notice with this speed build that I usually don't show with any of the others is that I show the floor plan and the bathroom here. And in a lot of times my speed builds, I get rid of the floor plan and I get rid of like me doing the wallpaper and the flooring, because those three parts of the build are always the toughest part, and I spend the longest probably on those parts. And it's just not fun to watch me go back and forth and change stuff, so I cut that out. But this time I did not cut out the floor plan, and I also included the bathroom as well. I usually don't include bathrooms, or if I do include bathrooms, I will only include one in like a big house or something, just so you can kind of see what the vibe looks like, because a lot of times bathrooms are nothing special and they look the same. But for this build, I wanted to include them because I feel like this video is short enough to where I could justify it. And yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I don't know, I thought it was cool. Just, you know, every once in a while for you to get to see what a bathroom looks like, or what the, I guess, building process looks like for that. So I included that in this, and at this point in the build, we're kind of about done. I'm just kind of going in and I'm placing like the final bit of like clutter, decorations, things that I think will, you know, make the house look a little bit more lived in. And we're about to get into the screenshots now. So if you do want to download this house, it will be on the gallery under my EA account ID, kalimsiYT. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like, comment what you'd like to see next, and subscribe for my next speed build. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.